Hello, freaks, geeks, degenerates, basement dwellers, weird folk online, and all you beautiful scrufftards. Welcome to the war zone. I'm Scruffy, and this is Skruffytalez. And all is quiet on the Ukrainian front. That is obviously a big lie. There's action going on every day, and people are dying. But we haven't seen the front lines move all that much in the past couple of days. I've been checking 5 or 6 maps, and not much is happening. So we're gonna just, but I've spotted a couple of interesting indications at a few locations, so we're gonna be taking a look at those. Before we go into that, I want to highlight this Swedish pharmacy company, Apatia. I have no affiliation with them whatsoever. I'm just highlighting this because this is beyond crucial. They have this project where they put together trauma kits, medical bags for frontline combat medics, designed to be used in the trenches just seconds after a soldier has been wounded. And we can all pitch in by donating money to Apatia. I will provide links down below. If you're from outside of Sweden and have issues operating or navigating the site or getting it to work or whatever, I offer a solution or an option at least, and that is for you to go to my Patreon link below and forward the money to me, or donate the money to me rather, and then I will forward your donations to Apatia for you. So it's an option. If you don't trust random dudes online asking you for money, I fully understand. It's every time I say it, it's equally funny every time I say that, but it's an option. Anyway, gonna talk to Swedes and Scandinavians. För fan, överväg detta. Som ni ser, det är 20 spänn det handlar om, eller en 100-lapp. Så för i helvete, nämn det för familj, vänner, kollegor över fikat eller vad fan som helst. Alltså bara nämn det att Apotea har den här möjligheten där ni kan donera 20 kronor till att hjälpa till att sätta ihop de här sjukvårdsväskorna som räddar liv. Ni ser ju texten själva där att Apotea har fått återkoppling från fronten i Ukraina att varje ryggsäck räddar i genomsnitt 7 liv. Det kan fan vara värt att hoppa över en kaffe i veckan och lägga en 20 på detta. Eller vad tycker ni? Ja, alltså överväg det och nämn det för familj, släkt, kollegor och så vidare. Det här är fan sjukt viktigt. Right, so I just want to highlight how important this is. Now, Apatia has received feedback from the front line in Ukraine, and the feedback is clear. Each one of these bags, and they have provided around 1,000 of these bags to Ukraine so far, each one, on average, saves 7 lives. 7 lives. So if you pitch in $2 or $10, you will for $2 have helped to save 7 Ukrainian lives. Might be worth it. Anyway, onward to Swedish missiles. And yeah, I just want to highlight that Ukraine has received the RBS-15, a very advanced anti-ship missile produced by Saab in Sweden, and there's been video evidence that they are now in fact operating the RBS-15. So link down below to that video as well if you're interested in that kind of stuff, taking a look at what the RBS-15 is all about. And we're gonna jump over to the maps in just a second. First, I want to highlight this. This is an insane story. It's a true story, a real thing. Operation JDEX-1. I made a video about it, 47 minutes long. My first video, my second video. I might actually gonna redo that video now that I'm a bit more used to recording videos on YouTube. Also made a short little trailer for it. So links to these down below. This is a true story when the UN put together an elite task force to fly out into the jungles of the Congo to rescue missionaries who were under threat of being hunted down, killed, and eaten by cannibals. There was a cannibal rebellion in the Congo, and they were running rampage through the country, threatening to murder hundreds of missionaries. And to top it all off, the leadership of the cannibal rebellion were communists. So you had communist cannibals rampaging through the jungles, killing missionaries. And the UN put together an elite task force that flew out with helicopters deep into hostile territory in the jungle to rescue these missionaries. And just an insane story, a true story. It took place, it happened 1964. And in the middle of this, you had 2 Swedish officers who would go on to earn medals of valor, medals of honor for their conduct in the heat of battle against these cannibals. Insane stuff. Please check out those videos. So yeah, not much happening along the front lines. We're gonna use AMK mapping, a pro-Russian, just to highlight what they're pointing out. It's interesting. Since they're now admitting that the Ukrainians are pushing in this way, north of another step over, it's like 15 of them, coming in this way towards Kamyanske, and they're applying pressure to the north here towards Plavny from the north, and Ukraine is in Stepnohirsk. This is encouraging that the pro-Russians have to admit this. Ukraine pushing down out of Novodanilivka at the Malatokmachka. Ukraine advancing here. We've seen this for a couple of days. Not many updates. Interesting though is of course here at Pokrovsk, at Ryshna. We know Ukraine has established themselves here. We got lots of geolocated Ukrainians here. Ukraine tried to push down this way. Still unclear if that was a successful push. The unit that conducted that advance said that they managed to push through and establish a presence. Still no geolocated evidence for that. But that should suggest that Ukraine is trying to outflank and isolate Ryshna to allow for a stronger push into town from the northwest. But what I think is the most important thing here is, this is of course the area of Pokrovsk, Mirnorad, and Russia managed to push across to Shakove eventually. And this direction here is where they made Bunny Ears operation. As you can see, Ukraine is pushing back in this area. We know that Ukraine is in this forested area as well, geolocated Ukrainians here. So this pro-Russian has not updated his map to admit that fact. We also know that Ukraine is taking control of this small town, or village rather. It's contested on his map. But as you can see, Ukraine is pushing in into Novoshakova. They've liberated Novi Donbass. They're pushing in this area. You have a river here that comes down this way that kind of separates the Russian forces to the east and west. And Russia is struggling in establishing a proper presence west of this river. And you can see here that the Ukrainians are pushing the Russians back ever so slightly in the area. Very encouraging. The battle for Pokrovsk, I feel, it's not over. It's just in another stage, the battle outside of Pokrovsk to the north and to the west. But it's all very much still part of the ongoing battle for Pokrovsk, right? Really, since this is essentially where the Russians were when they were over here trying to push into Pokrovsk, and now the Ukrainians is doing the pushing, trying to push back into Pokrovsk. Very encouraging. Not much in the forms of updates here. You can see that the front line has been looking like this for a couple of days, basically. We got some geolocations in and around Lyman. I'll show you. Oh yeah, there was one update down here, by the way. One slight update. Where the hell is it? Right here. So Pokrovsk, and here we got some blue. Minuscule update. And that would be here at Molodetske. And as you can see, according to that update, Ukraine is in control of this section of the road, the forested area here. In order to reach that, I don't think they would push across the field. I think it's more than likely that they came down through this valley, managed to push through the village and establish a presence here. So, or coming down through this windbreak. I think they might have pushed through the windbreak here in order to establish themselves in and around the road, trying to cut off Molodetske from Udachne, which is not unthinkable since we know Ukraine has been able to push into Udachne in this corner. So yeah, that's where were we? We were up at Lyman. Yeah, so we have a bunch of geolocated Ukrainians in Yampil. Let's head on over to that one. Which one is that? That would be this one. No, it's this one. So here you got a whole bunch of geolocated Ukrainian positions deep into Yampil. Very encouraging. But I also noticed this. This is from the 28th. And this is Ukrainian infantry getting hit by Russian artillery. And which tells us that this is where the Russians are trying to push in, right here, into Lyman. And now you have Ukrainians at the edge of town. Should indicate that, you know, that the Russians have been pushed back, that the Ukrainians are pushing into town, clearing out the town itself. And the Russians are struggling at the moment in maintaining positions here. So we might see the Ukrainians pushing north along this road towards the edge of the forest here, maybe continuing out of Lyman in a pincer move, trapping a bunch of Russians here, and that would be excellent if they could pull that one off. Let's see what else. Not much. Like I said, it's been a couple of days where the front lines have not moved. This is old. You can see here, being a pro-Russian, he has not updated the Ukrainian push in here. I'll show you on Andrew's map. Where is it? Here you go. This push is not, this is a couple of days old. AMK mapping does not include it into the woods here. And if we're moving up to Vovchansk, he has the entirety here under Russian control, since he is pro-Russian, ignoring the fact that we have geolocated Ukrainians in this entire pocket here. Again, we can move over to Andrew. Let's see here if we have something. No? Well, here we go. Russian killed by small arms fire, Ukrainian infantry engaging. So it's been established over a couple of weeks now that the Ukrainians are operating here in this pocket. And the pro-Russian does not acknowledge that. That's more or less it. It's been not that many updates in the last couple of days on the front lines, which I guess is encouraging. It means that the Russians aren't advancing, which is good. So we'll see what happens over the weekend, I guess, as both sides seem to be gathering strength for future advances along the front line. And that's it. Don't forget to consider Apatia. It's super important. Please consider Apatia. Links down below. And feel free to check out the other videos I've made as well. And with that, I guess not much else to add. So I hope you found it interesting. I hope I'll see you in the next one. As always, go på marsch, Ukraine, and give them hell.
I stalk the night, no sound, no light. You're in my sights, feel the bite. Sharp wings slicing through the sky. No use fleeing, don't even try. I am the hunter, you can't escape. Your shadows tremble, your world will break. No wall, no cover will keep me at bay. I am the predator, you're my prey. The wind is howling, leave cover if you dare. I see it all, of every heartbeat I'm aware. hunter, you can't escape. Your shadows tremble, your world will break. No wall, no cover will keep me at bay. I am the predator, you're my prey. Midnight eyes, sharp like steel. Wings cut skies, your fate is sealed. With silent steps, I stalk your safest space. Feel my breath, I see your face. The cold wind whispers your name. Shadows lurking, let's play the game. No mercy here, it's only you and me. The hunter's gaze, you cannot flee. I am the hunter, you can't escape. Your shadows tremble, your world will break. No wall, no cover will keep me at bay. I am the predator, you're my prey. You're my prey. You're my prey. I see you breathe that shallow breath. Feel my wings, they're the wings of death. No hiding place, now you know how it feels. The silent truth, your fate is sealed. Rest assured, the hunter's wings death deals. The sky is endless, I am the drone. Every step you take, you are never alone. Feel the pulse of endless dread. You'll find no shelter, no safe bed. On the drone, you are never alone. Feel the pulse of endless dread. You'll find no shelter, no safe bed. Heroium Slava. I am the hunter, you can't escape. Your shadows tremble, your world will break. No wall, no cover will keep me at bay. I am the predator.